3 miles beneath the ocean's surface, in a world of absolute darkness and crushing pressure that would implode a human skull in milliseconds, something impossible exists. Creatures that watched the first fish grow legs. Animals that witnessed every mass extinction and simply continued. While Tyrannosaurus rex wouldn't appear for another 400 million years, these beings were already ancient, their body plans so perfect that evolution couldn't improve them. They survived the asteroid that vaporized the dinosaurs. They endured ice ages, volcanic apocalypses, and the Great Dying that killed 96% of all ocean life. And tonight, you'll meet them, the nautilus, the horseshoe crab, the coelacanth, living fossils that hold secrets we're only beginning to understand. One species has even conquered death itself. Welcome to Earth's deepest mystery, the creatures older than time. 541 million years ago, Earth's oceans exploded with life. This was the Cambrian explosion, a biological revolution that occurred more than 300 million years before the first dinosaur would draw breath. The seas were alien beyond imagination. No fish swam through these waters. No seaweed swayed. The land stood barren and lifeless, a desolate wasteland of volcanic rock. But beneath the waves, in water warmed by a younger, hotter Earth, the first complex eyes were opening. The first shells were hardening. The first predators were learning to hunt. In this crucible of evolution, certain body plans emerged that were so fundamentally successful that natural selection found no reason to improve them. These creatures became living fossils, not frozen in amber, but alive, breathing, hunting in the depths. They survived when volcanic eruptions poisoned the oceans during the Great Dying, when 96% of all marine species perished. They endured as dinosaurs rose to dominance, and barely noticed when an asteroid turned those magnificent reptiles to dust. Human civilization is barely 10,000 years old. These creatures have maintained their forms for time spans 50,000 times longer. Their ancestors were already ancient when the Appalachian Mountains stood taller than the Himalayas. And now, as our submersibles descend into the crushing darkness, we find them still there, still hunting, still thriving in an environment that would kill a human in seconds. They are messages from a world we can barely imagine, proof that evolution's greatest achievements sometimes require no improvement at all. "1,500 feet beneath the surface, a living submarine drifts through the twilight zone. The chambered nautilus, a creature whose lineage stretches back 500 million years, moves with alien grace through the fading light. Its shell is a mathematical miracle, each chamber sealed with mother-of-pearl, filled with precise ratios of gas and liquid that allow perfect buoyancy control. As it grows, it adds chambers in a Fibonacci spiral, the same pattern that appears in hurricanes and galaxies. The Nautilus discovered this solution 500 million years ago. Watch as it hunts. 90 adhesive tentacles emerge, probing the darkness for carrion or crustaceans. Unlike its extinct cousins, the ammonites that once filled these seas, the Nautilus has simple pinhole eyes without lenses. Yet they work perfectly in the dim bioluminescent glow, detecting movement with sensitivity honed across geological epochs. The Nautilus draws water into its mantle and expels it through a muscular siphon, jet propelling backward with surprising speed. This is the same principle later discovered by squid, octopuses, and human engineers. But the Nautilus invented it first, before vertebrates evolved, before plants colonized land. Predators circle in the darkness. A massive grouper watches. An octopus probes a crevice with intelligent arms. The Nautilus has survived this dance for eons. Its shell is armor, 10 inches across, withstanding pressure equivalent to a car parked on every square inch. Inside this fortress, it's nearly invulnerable, but there's a cost to perfection. The Nautilus matures slowly, taking 15 to 20 years to reach reproductive age. It produces only a handful of offspring in its lifetime. This strategy worked flawlessly for 500 million years. But now, in oceans dominated by fishing nets and warming waters, this ancient rhythm has become vulnerability. The nautilus, survivor of 5 mass extinctions, faces a crisis it may not overcome: us. The full moon rises over Delaware Bay, and the ancient ritual begins. Thousands of armored forms emerge from the surf, their carapaces glistening like helmets from some primordial army. These are horseshoe crabs, not crabs at all, but chelicerates more closely related to spiders, and they've been doing this exactly the same way for 450 million years. Their bodies are evolutionary masterpieces. The hard-shell shields book gills that breathe underwater and briefly in air. Compound eyes detect ultraviolet light. Simple photoreceptors across the shell sense lunar cycles with atomic clock precision. The long tail spine looks menacing but serves only to flip the animal upright when waves overturn it. Males clasp onto larger females with specialized claws. Females dig nests and deposit 80,000 eggs. Males release sperm. It's an orgy of reproduction unchanged since before fish evolved jaws, and it's timed perfectly to spring tides that will help the next generation return to sea. But there's another reason these creatures matter. Cut open a horseshoe crab, and you'll find blood the color of summer sky, pale blue, copper-based. And in that blood are cells that detect bacterial toxins instantly, plotting around contamination in seconds. Pharmaceutical companies harvest this blood to create the LAL test. Every vaccine you've received, every drug, every medical device, all tested using blood from an animal older than trees. COVID-19, vaccines that saved millions, tested with horseshoe crab blood. 500,000 crabs are bled annually for this purpose. Above the beaches, shorebirds swarm. Red knots, having flown from South America, gorge on horseshoe crab eggs, doubling their weight before continuing to Arctic breeding grounds. This connection illustrates how deeply these living fossils are woven into contemporary ecosystems. Yet despite surviving the asteroid that killed dinosaurs, despite enduring ice ages and volcanic catastrophes, their populations decline. Overharvested for bait and medicine, their beaches paved for condominiums, they face challenges their 450 million year heritage never prepared them for. Evolution perfected them for natural disasters. It couldn't prepare them for strip malls. December 1938. A fishing trawler off South Africa hauls up its nets. Among the catch lies something impossible. A 5-foot fish covered in armored scales the color of twilight. Its fins don't look like fins. They look like limbs, fleshy lobes containing bones analogous to arms. The museum curator who examines it literally trembles. This is a coelacanth, believed extinct for 66 million years, killed with the dinosaurs. But here it is, alive, its gills still moving. The discovery sends shockwaves through science. If coelacanth survived hidden for 66 million years, what else might be down there? The coelacanth's lineage stretches back 370 million years to when the first vertebrates experimented with land life. Those lobed fins, with internal bones resembling a humerus, radius, even protodigits, represent a bridge between fish and four-legged animals. The coelacanth didn't take that path. It stayed in water, but it kept the equipment. Modern coelacanth inhabit underwater caves 300 to 700 feet down, where dim blue light barely penetrates. They're drift hunters, conserving energy where food is scarce. Their unique intracranial joint, a skull hinge, allows the upper jaw to swing impossibly wide, swallowing prey whole. Lanternfish, cuttlefish, small sharks. But most remarkable is their reproduction. Females give birth to live young after 5 years of gestation. the longest pregnancy of any vertebrate. 5 years. They live over a century, reaching sexual maturity at 40 to 60 years. This is time on a completely different scale. There are 2 species, one off Africa, one in Indonesian waters, 6,000 miles apart, separated for millions of years. Both rare, both vulnerable, both caught accidentally by deep-sea fishing despite having no value. The coelacanth's heart beats once every 20 seconds. Its metabolism runs so slowly that a single meal sustains it for weeks. When you watch footage of these fish drifting in caves, you're watching creatures that experience time differently. They've been waiting for 370 million years. Will they survive the next 100? Now that we know where they hide? Before brains existed, before bones or blood, there were jellyfish. 500 million years ago, these transparent bells pulsed through ancient seas using a body plan so simple that evolution saw no reason to change it. 95% water. No brain, no heart, no centralized nervous system. Just a nerve net coordinating rhythmic bell contractions. Just tentacles armed with millions of microscopic harpoons, cnidocytes containing nematocysts that fire in 700 nanoseconds. Faster than bullets. Faster than human eyes perceive. The slightest touch triggers them, injecting venom that paralyzes in seconds. Jellyfish are killers without malice. They drift with currents, tentacles spread to snare whatever crosses their path. Fish, crustaceans, other jellyfish, all paralyzed, drawn to the central mouth, digested in a cavity so primitive it also serves as an excretory system. But one jellyfish achieved something miraculous. Turritopsis dohrnii, no larger than a pinky nail, can reverse its life cycle. When injured or threatened, it transforms from adult back to juvenile polyp, essentially resetting its biological clock. Indefinitely, this tiny creature is biologically immortal. It solved death through the simplest means, refusing to stay dead. In the deep ocean, giants drift through the abyss. Lion's mane jellyfish trail tentacles over 120 feet long, longer than blue whales. Giant phantom jellyfish pulse through waters 20,000 feet deep, glowing with bioluminescence in eternal darkness. And they're winning. As humans warm oceans and overfish seas, jellyfish populations explode. They thrive in conditions that kill fish. Massive blooms shut down power plants. Fishing nets fill with gelatinous bodies instead of fish. A single box jellyfish contains enough venom to kill 60 humans. Its sting causes pain, so severe victims go into shock and drown. Yet these creatures have no brain, no capacity for thought. They're simply efficient killers perfected by 500 million years of selection. Evolution at its most elemental. Proof that complexity isn't necessary for success. We've mapped more of Mars than Earth's ocean floor. 95% of our ocean remains unexplored, and every time we descend into that darkness, we find new wonders. Every deep-sea expedition discovers an average of 3 previously unknown species, which suggests millions of organisms live in the abyss that we've never documented, never even imagined. The vampire squid, Vampirotuthis infernalis, represents another ancient lineage. 8 webbed arms, photophores producing light displays, surviving in oxygen minimum zones that would suffocate almost anything else. When threatened, it turns inside out, exposing spines and light organs to confuse barely seeing predators. Giant isopods, relatives of pill bugs, grow to 16 inches in the deep ocean. This is deep-sea gigantism, where ancient body plans scale up in the cold, dark abyss. They're scavengers, sometimes waiting months between meals, surviving on occasional whale carcasses drifting down from the surface. Sponges, barely more than cell colonies, have filtered Earth's oceans for 600 million years. They have no organs, no nervous system, just specialized cells drawing thousands of gallons daily through their bodies. Collectively, they process Earth's entire ocean volume multiple times per year. Some grow to basketball size, living over 10,000 years. Individual organisms filtering water when pyramids were built, when mammoths walked Earth. These creatures survived 5 mass extinctions, asteroid impacts that turned atmospheres to fire, ice ages that froze oceans. They barely noticed when continents collided and mountains thrust upward from seafloors. But now they face something new. Deep-sea mining. Bottom trawling nets scraping seafloors like plows. Plastic accumulating in the deepest trenches. Climate change warming waters stable for millions of years. The question isn't whether these creatures can survive. They've proven their resilience across geological time. The question is whether they can survive us. Whether humanity's 200-year industrial experiment will end what 5 mass extinctions could not. In the crushing darkness where light never penetrates and time moves differently, these ancient mariners continue their slow dance through the abyss, oblivious to surface revolutions, extinctions, and rebirths. They are evolution's most successful designs, proof that complexity isn't always superior to simplicity, that adaptation sometimes means changing nothing at all. While humanity measures progress in decades and celebrates technologies that obsolete within years, these creatures remind us that survival is measured in epochs, that enduring wisdom is written in DNA perfected across 500 million years. They are living bridges to Earth's deep past and fragile messengers from our planet's final frontier, and whether they survive the next century depends entirely on whether we can learn what they've been teaching since before our ancestors left the sea.